Amads versus PAOK. Pretty decent, huh? Especially when you consider the context of this performance. You see, this was his first start for the team since the 3rd of October, and in fact, leading into this game, he had only previously played 619 minutes. Yet, he comes into the side, into the starting 11, he scores 2 goals, and puts in a performance that was, without doubt, worthy of man of the match. So let's break down that performance today. So what did Amads do in his performance that was so impressive, and perhaps different to what other Manchester United wingers may have done in the same situations? Well, for me, the big thing with Amads in this performance was that he contributed everywhere on the pitch. This wasn't just like a one-trick pony. He wasn't just a runner in behind, or just a wide threat, or a one-footed player. Amads offered us a little bit of everything, and it starts in actually slightly deeper positions than what you may expect. You see, sometimes, for example, the ball's going to go from your centre-back to your full-back, Mazraoui on this occasion, and sometimes you get yourself in a situation where you just need an easy pass. You need the ability to roll the ball up the line and trust your teammate to look after the ball. Sometimes you need that out ball, and United don't always have that. Amads provides it because he is comfortable coming towards the ball, getting his body between the ball and the opposition player to protect the ball, before then looking to work from there. Now in these situations he's a surprisingly strong player, so he can often hold off tackles from the opposition, but also he's incredibly intelligent. He has his brilliant ability to spin with the ball inside the pitch, throwing off the balance of the opponent and actually then moving into midfield. And in terms of, from a tactical point of view, the ability for a winger to move inside into genuine midfield-like positions, well, it's a massive advantage because it can allow you to create these overloads in the middle of the pitch. And we saw this from Amads throughout the game, to be honest, really. You can see Mazraoui in that sort of situation that I'm talking about. He doesn't really have many options on the ball. He just needs to give this ball to Amads and be able to trust him to deal with it. And Amads recognises that. Amads shapes himself up to receive the ball, receives the ball, gets his body in the way between the ball and the opposition, wins the foul. Nothing magical, but it's good work. Helps out his teammate, wins a free kick for Manchester United. The more impressive stuff, however, is when he is throwing in changes of direction and he's really throwing the opponents off balance, and sometimes he makes the opponents look a little bit silly. In situations like this, Casemiro moves the ball out wide towards Amads on the right hand side of the pitch, and you can see the opposition defender therefore shifting across the pitch to get towards Amads. What does Amads do with his first touch? Well, he completely changes the direction of the whole play. You see the ball was moving wide. Amads' first touch takes the ball inside, and it completely throws his opponent off balance, allows him to spin inside. Then he has a great intent with the way that he plays. He really drives in field here into this open space. And in general, it's just brilliant play, and you can see how many players it is taking to stop him. This is 3 PAOK players that he is drawing the attention of. What's the benefit of that? Well, if 3 players are looking at him, chances are someone's got some room somewhere else. Dallow's got a little bit of room. You can see Bruno Fernandes checking his shoulder, but also down here somewhere, there'll be space for a different player to receive the ball. Because of Amads' gravity, he draws players towards him. We can see another example of this as well. This time it's a little bit different. It's not back to play as much, but it's still on the right hand side. And what he's trying to do is work the ball infield like this. He's trying to spin inside the pitch, and he wants to do this basically just because he's so comfortable. Now initially he moves towards his own goal, and the opposition midfielder reads that and kind of goes as though he's going to press that way. Amads at the last second changes direction, makes that defender look a little bit silly and races away from him. And once again, he's going to draw the attention of multiple players. This is 3 players looking at him. That means there has to be someone free somewhere else on the pitch. That's what Amads does so well. He's really useful for his teammates. He offers an easy pass, he protects the ball, so that's helping his teammate out. But then once he gets the ball and spins inside and causes problems, it takes 2 or 3 players closing him down to actually take the ball off him. And like I've said, if players are around him, that means they're not around someone else, and someone else gets a bit more time. So that was something that Amads done really well, particularly in the middle phase. Now Amads' play in the middle phase is extremely important to United from a tactical point of view. But it's not necessarily the most exciting part of his game, right? It's just keeping the ball in the middle third. The area where it gets a bit more interesting for Amads and a bit more spicy for fans to watch is in the final third. Amads has this incredible unpredictability about the way that he plays. I think there is this misconception that he is overly left-footed and only wants to come in field. I don't feel that that is accurate at all. You see, Amads is a player that dribbles with the ball always perfectly between his 2 feet. So in situations like this, he always has the ball between 2 of his feet. Now what that means for the opposition is that it becomes incredibly difficult to read because you don't know what way he's going to go. Something else that Amads will do is take a lot of little touches. Again, he's keeping the ball close to his feet all the time. He is throwing in body shimmies and body swerves, trying to catch the opponent off guard. It's really difficult to defend because he doesn't really commit to a certain direction until the very last minute, and by then it's too late for the opposition to kind of react to it. We can see it here, he gets the ball in the penalty area, a really dangerous area in the first place, but you can see here, he's keen to get the ball between his 2 feet. He doesn't want it too far out to his left or too far out to his right, because that will make him predictable. He wants his body inside, inside the body, and you can see the effect it has on the opponent. The opponent has to take a lot of little steps to react to this, because they are kind of jockeying, they're trying to adjust to Amads' movement. But this means when Amad quickly then changes direction, the defender isn't ready. And once again, Amad makes the defender look a little bit silly and he just races past him and gets towards the byline. I love this. This isn't a one-footed player just cutting in on his left. He's going towards the byline on his right. We love to see that. If we do love to see it, it's perfect, because there's another one here. Out wide this time. A little bit wider. First of all, I love the ability to deal with the physical contact that we just saw. But then situations like this. You're getting that ball back in the centre of his body. If you are the defender, you don't know which way he wants to go. You assume he's left-footed, so he probably wants to come inside. But as long as he's keeping that ball in the middle, he has the opportunity to go both ways. And again, for a defender, that means it's very difficult to anticipate. So therefore, you are reacting to the attacker's movement. When you are reacting to an attacker, rather than anticipating, you're on the back foot straight away. And Amad knows exactly that. Again, keeping the ball in the centre of his body and just changing direction at the last second. Quickly knocking the ball one way, he accelerates over those first couple of yards. He's got this really good upper body strength despite being quite a small player. He holds these players off and then he gets towards the byline. But of course at the same time, he can also go the other way as well. This one's a bit more obvious in my opinion. I don't think the defending is great here, I have to be completely honest. But you can see what Amads trying to do here. Cutting inside onto his left foot, we know what he wants to do. Quickly dart at the last second, change direction and get himself into a shooting position. Amad was doing this throughout the first half in particular, but to be honest, all night long he was a problem for the opposition because they didn't know what way he was going to go. That's perfect for a Manchester United winger. Now, a winger that can dribble with the ball and go both ways and change direction is absolutely beautiful to watch. But ultimately, what separates the average wingers from the best wingers is decision making and the ability to not be selfish, to link the play with the teammates around you. Amad does exactly that. Now, we have to remember he's playing against PAOK here. No disrespect to PAOK, but they're not the best team in the world. They're not the best defenders. Like I said, on that last situation, I think they actually defended quite poorly. But Amad ultimately made a lot of good decisions in the final third. He was looking to combine with his teammates. He has this idea of, rather than always rushing towards the goal, he plays it a little bit safer at times. He slows it down, and I think for some people that's frustrating. But ultimately, for your team, it's really important to the way that you attack, because it allows you, when you slow down a little bit, it allows you to bring teammates into the game. It allows you to get more players further forward. And I think the view for a lot of people is, if you can get more players forward, you've got more options on the ball, you can be more creative, and hopefully, therefore, score more goals. That's what Amad was trying to bring to this performance. Floating inside and combining with Bruno Fernandes, going on the outside, combining with Mazraoui, but also vice versa as well. Amad brought a little bit of everything to the performance on this side of the pitch. You can see Mazraoui plays the ball in here. Amad played really simple football, and the reason he's able to do this is because he's intelligent. Situations like this, he's scanning. As the ball is coming towards him, he's had a quick look over his shoulder, so he knows where Bruno Fernandes is before he even gets the ball. That means when the ball does eventually make it to him, he can play first time. That speed, that injection of tempo on the ball, followed by, a crisp pass, is what you need to speed up the attack in these areas. It doesn't always have to be direct running, knocking the ball 20 yards ahead of you and then sprinting after it. Sometimes just quick passing can really manipulate the opposition and move about, particularly a low block. It can move players out of position and give you a bit more space. That's what Amad does really nicely for me, and he done it particularly well last night. Again, out wide here, feeds the ball down the line for Mazraoui. It's nothing incredible, but it's just simple passing football. It's taking your touches, looking for runners, and this is actually a really good position to be in. He feeds this ball for Ugarte, who makes that run towards the half space. The touch isn't quite right, so it doesn't quite work out. But again, this is positive play. He's trying to bring his teammates into the game. If he had attacked at the start of this move really directly, really quickly, Ugarte never would have got close to being involved in this move because he still would have been back near his own goal. Amad gives his teammates time to get towards him, and ultimately that can improve United defensively as well. But of course, the bonus we're interested in today is on the ball, attacking. Amad and Bruno Fernandes, good players, understand each other. Good players seem to have this ability just to link up with each other. You can tell these technical footballers apart a mile off. Amad's simple, short, passing football, and eventually it creates room for Bruno Fernandes, and now we can be more direct. Now we could deliver a ball into the box if we wanted to. We could put something in there, or we could play towards the edge to Casemiro. We've got options because we've taken our time, because we've combined. It's all really good stuff. Again, it's nothing magical from Amad, I wouldn't say, but it's just nice. It keeps us ticking over. It's good attacking play. And then just finally, we can't talk about this Amad performance without highlighting the 2 goals because they were special for different reasons. This first one is absolutely brilliant. I mean, the ball in from Bruno Fernandes, first of all, is phenomenal. It's an absolute joke. But a header at the far post. Amad is quite a small lad. He's not a player that we associate with being particularly dominant in the air, but we've seen it before against AC Milan a few years ago. Can you imagine Marcus Rashford scoring this goal? I personally couldn't. Can you imagine Garnacho scoring this goal with his head? I wouldn't have thought so. Anthony? Probably not. Amad gives us something a little bit different. It's that almost tenacity just to get on the ball and make things happen. He's always going towards the ball, trying to get there. And I mean, this goal is just phenomenal. It's a brilliant header back across the goal. Then we've got this next one though, and this really impresses me. Van Nistelrooy spoke about it after the game because it shows a little bit of everything about Amad, who's just there, by the way. First of all, the intensity, closing down the opposition. This was actually a long ball over from the other side, which had fallen a little bit short, and we are very used to seeing our wingers kind of giving up on those passes, throwing their arms up in the air, and then slowly walking back towards the own goal, right? Amad doesn't do that. He's intense. He wants to get after the ball. He closes down the defender. This is brilliant to see, particularly fairly late on in the game, the fact that he still wants to do this. He still wants to play with an intensity, trying to impress the manager, perhaps, not sure. But he wins the ball well initially, and then he drives forward. And again, we're talking about physical strength. Holds off the defender here, but particularly in this next second as we move it along here. I mean, if the defender wants his shirt that badly, ask for it after the game, mate, all right? There's no need for this. He's fouling Amad the whole way. A lot of wingers would go down in this situation. They'd look for a free kick, or they would kind of throw their hands in the air and kind of strop a little bit. Not Amad. He's got an incredible upper body strength. Similar, in my opinion, to the likes of Mohamed Salah, who is incredibly strong despite his size, but also Bukayo Saka. These guys aren't the biggest wingers in the world, but the way that they use their body and kind of use the contact to their advantage is phenomenal. And Amad really reminded me of that last night, and I mean, that's good company. Those are good players to be comparing him to. He's all over him. He's all over him. He's a big guy. Amad just shrugs him off. Moves into the final third. A bit of luck with the strike, right? A small deflection, but I'm going to pretend I didn't see it because the finish, it was good. It deserved the goal because of the work, because of the intensity, the physical desire to keep the ball away from the opponent and then put it into the back of the net. It was brilliant from Amad. I think it's what we all know he can do. Now it's about, hopefully, at the weekend, but also Amorim after the international break, giving Amad more of an opportunity. Hopefully we see it because I think there is a really good talent there, but he needs to play football. He's at that age where he can't be getting fringe player minutes. He needs to develop. He needs to play football on a regular basis. Is he going to get that at United? I'm still not entirely convinced. I want to look at how Amorim could use him over the international break, so there will be that video fairly soon. But for today, we are finished. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.